Hey, what's up guys? Gordon Briley here from PhenoX Fitness and Nutrition, and today I want to show you my favorite piece of equipment. So most people love the HelloFit system. Lots of people have been obsessed with that, but my obsession is with something I think is even more capable, and that's what I want to demonstrate to you guys because this thing is super badass. And what I wanted to do was, originally when I started this, it was all about creating things that were much more affordable, but also more dynamic than what you get with most equipment manufacturers. So I know in a home gym, you really want things that are multi-purpose because we don't have a lot of space. And then most people are looking for affordability, and that's exactly what I've created. So I wanted to create something that was versatile like the Smith machine, but didn't have the extreme cost that was associated with it. But then I also wanted to do one step better than that, was create something where you actually had to stabilize the weight. That was really important to me because most people that have used the Smith machine or complain about it know that the big part of it that's lacking is the fact that you don't have to stabilize that weight. So you're really just in a linear motion, and again, you don't have to stabilize. So I wanted to think of a way that we could create the same usefulness, but also have this component to it. So I started buying all kinds of different size rods, so 1 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, all these different diameters, and just started testing them. And what I found was if you get to a certain diameter, you can have plenty of strength, but you can also have some flexibility, and that's where I came up with the flex bar system. And most people, when they see this, and I knew this was going to be the case, is when they see it and see that it moves, they're like, well, that's obviously got to be cheap. And like I said, that's something I knew that I would have to overcome, but once people have used it, anyone that's used any of my equipment has always been like, this speed bar is what I want. And it's because it actually works really surprisingly well. So when they see it and they see it move like so, they see that as a bad thing. But I literally spent thousands of dollars trying to figure out how to make it function like this. And the fact that it has this flexibility, front to back, left to right, it has about 1.5 inches at most where it moves. When you're actually lifting all kinds of different lifts, because this thing you can do unlimited stuff with it, when you're lifting you still have to stabilize. And one of the things, if you know that it's going to flex, is one, you can do your lifts and try to make it not flex all that much. It's kind of like a gauge to seeing how well you're controlling the movement itself. But more so, let's say at a chest press, when you're lifting and it can move a little bit, then you have to stabilize. You're using those muscles that are really important. So that's kind of the concept behind it, is forcing you to still stabilize, but having the safe part of it, the safety part of it, with having a system where you can set it up in ways that you can do, let's say like a bottoms up press, where if you burn yourself out, then the bar is going to be fixed above you where it's safe. You can just slide out from under it. But even better than that is the way that I designed it is the fact that it can be separated. The Smith machine is attached all the way across. You have a single bar. And to me, that was another lacking part of it. So I made it to where there's a crossbar. So a crossbar, and there's these quick bolts is what I call them. So you can quickly slide it in here, run it in any height that you want throughout this, and quickly attach it and unattach it and move it again. So it's really, really simple, but now we have the flexibility of using it in single-sided lifts. These handles move anywhere throughout this rail system. So if I want to do unilateral or single-sided stiff leg deadlifts, I can move these anywhere that I want. But then I can also spin it and have the weights up high on the inside. So you have a ton of flexibility in the way that you set this thing up, whether you want to do bicep curls or shoulder press. If I maneuver this one on the inside and then put this up here, then you just move the weights to the outside and now have the ability to do a single arm press when on a Smith machine you weren't able to do that. And now again, we have a little bit of flexibility, so when you press this, you actually have to stabilize it. And even better is the fact that you can change your grip instantly. So some people with shoulder problems, part of the problem is the fact that they're lifting on a fixed bar. So dumbbells are better for that reason. You can actually go into a neutral grip, which stabilizes the joint capsule, and it's a much safer position. And most people eliminate pain when they externally rotate. So that's one of the things that I want to make sure you could do, was customize it in the way that you can turn your hands to a position that may not hurt. And having them separated, you can do that. So with that flexibility, I'm going to demonstrate a lot of different exercises because you can do so many different things. And there's a lot of things that I probably haven't even came up with. So the first thing I want to demonstrate is just a simple chest press. So I'm going to do it single arm, and I just adjusted the handles to fit the range of motion that I'm looking for. And you can do this with the actual full crossbar. And I only have a 25 on here just because I haven't warmed up, whatever. I just want to show you how it functions. But you can definitely put 345s on each side. I do some leg press, different stuff like that with a shit ton of weight. So that's definitely not going to be a problem. But I'm just going to demonstrate so you can see how it functions as a chest press. And one of the cool parts is I can change my grip depending on where I want to position myself. And it's so smooth. It has UHMW wear strips that just make it feel like it's hard to even believe how smooth it is. So again, with this flex rod, you have to stabilize it. If you don't, it's not that big of a deal because it's not going anywhere, but it's nice and safe. I can set it here, change the range of motion quickly, do a little drop set, carry on. So that's a standard press, single arm. Again, I can change the handle position, which is really important. You can eliminate pain. And when you eliminate that pain, often what you're doing is eliminating the irritation. So if you're doing a fixed bar and you keep irritating the same spot, it's never going to heal. And that's the whole premise. If you're doing it with a grip that doesn't actually impinge in one case, then you're going to stop irritating it and it can actually recover. And then now you get past that. And that's one of the beauty of having a system that's built to be able to have some of these functions. So this is the chest press. I'm going to demonstrate it next with a fixed bar, but also with bands instead of weights. I'll still leave the weights, but just put a band on it, which I love using both weight and bands because it changes the resistance completely. So check it out. So now I'm going to do a chest press with the fixed bar, and I also added some resistance bands. Hopefully you guys can see these. This wraps around adjustable eye hooks, one on this side, one on that side. So if I want to increase the resistance, I can slide the eye hooks or eye bolts farther apart, and that will add more resistance. Or I could move these into different places, and I could put the band up higher on this other side, but I just put it here for now. So there's a ton of different ways that you can make the bands have different resistance or do drop sets. If this was on the inside, I could put it up here and then move it down here in just in 2 seconds, just to give it a different varied resistance. So the one thing is, after I fix this bar, now I'm going to have to slide into it. but that way you're nice and safe. And this is where like hypertrophy, this is really good for, because you can do a burnout and go to complete failure and not have to worry about a spotter. So I love that part of it. So just gotta slide in. I set the height already, and now I can go whatever width I want on the grip. Now I still have to stabilize, but with these bands, the resistance is awesome. And I can adjust that. Now I can stabilize front to back and side to side. And again, just so smooth. I can burn it out and then just squeeze out of there. So chest press is just one variation that you can do and change up the resistance. You know, a lot of weight, and you can certainly load it up probably to as heavy as most people can do. There is a 10% of people that can lift a hell of a lot more than I can, but you can load the weight up in a couple of different ways, like I said, with the bands and weights. So that's chest press. And then now I'm just going to speed it up and move through some of the different exercises that you can do.